Hey guys, welcome back to RC Legends, and once again, thank you for stopping by. It's a build day. A massive thank you to my good friend Keith at RC Icons for this kit. He sent me it ages ago, and I'm only just getting around to building it now. Yeah, the Kyosho Ultima. The original was in 1987. Never had one, so obviously never built one, but had many since that for collections and bought and sold and stuff. Never run one ever. But the most special part of this kit for me is my best friend Paul back in the UK. He bought one brand new. So when we were right at the beginning of RC, I can't remember what I had at that time, but I think Paul went from either a Falcon or a Hornet to this. This was a World Championship winning car, I believe, when it came out. I remember there was a big hoo-ha about it. You know, there was no social media back then, but I remember it was just like a big deal that Kyosho had done this car that everyone could buy. Yeah, awesome. And I remember him building it and then him driving it around, and it was just, you know, from Falcon and a Hornet, it's just levels and levels and levels above. Crazy. And he's still got it, which is awesome. So today I finally get to build my own for my collection, which is super cool. Yeah, let's get building. Right, I've got all the bits out. I don't know if I said it earlier, but I'm really excited about this build. Been looking forward to this one. So there's a couple of the BCD bags I've not opened yet. I'll do them as and when it needed. Look at that chassis. Let me just bring that. Look at that chassis. God, the memories this brings back. I remember Paul getting this brand new. It went from a Hornet, or it might have been a Falcon. Pretty sure it was a Hornet to an Ultima. Jeez, what a jump that was. The chassis is beautiful. Look at them shocks. Stunning. Bearing kit. Yeah, just one interesting note before we start. So obviously with manuals in front of me, but it's got they must have made some mistakes or changes. So as you can see, number one is starting building a diff, 1, 2, 3. But it's got this supplementary instruction sheet, which has got 6. Obviously when I get to 6 here, I go by this. And there's quite a few when you do 7 and 8 and 9, 10s there. Then you jump to 17, so I'll be working with both of those. But let me just hold that up so you can see. Stage 1 is that. So let's get cracking. Right, I see diff housings and beveled gears in, so if you're not seeing this car, it's all metal, including the outcups, which is awesome. And it's a diff gear, not a ball diff, which I much prefer. And that's the diff complete. All feels great, as you would expect from Kyosho. Heavy little thing as well. It just feels the quality. You can feel the quality. Anyway, yeah, so that's stage 1 and 2 complete. Let's move on to 3. Right, gearbox housings. 2 bearings in each one. There's a plastic ring here that goes on so you can't see the 4th bearing. Then we've got the metal drive gear and spacer. So that's stage 3. Stage 4 is putting that together. Right, that's gearbox together, but it's only on with 1 screw. There's a shaft you put in to put the other gear in the correct position, and then once it's together you just take it out, hung out. Step 5 is putting these metal plates, the engine guard and the motor plate, some bits on there, and then stage 6 is putting that bit all together with the gearbox. So I'll get that done. Right, that's stage 6 complete. Lovely looking thing. So the gearbox is all nipped up now. So you got your motor plate, get my motor guard. Loads of alloy. Kyosho really do make quality kits. Now, interestingly, these are the wing mounts, if you weren't aware, and it comes with, where's the other one? It comes with 2 options, and I never knew that. So this is that's that side. So I'll tell you what, let me just see if I can get this. No, this is not going to make sense. So it's a high and low wing option. That's roughly it. And it's quite a jump actually. So I've gone with a higher wing mount because I don't know, it's just a gut feeling I get that it'll look better with the higher wing mount. If you know the Ultima, then the wing is really low to the back of the car. Now it's not going to make a massive difference, but it might just make it look kind of the thing I like, but we'll see. And I hope so, because it's a little bit of a mission to change those wing mounts once the car's built. Anyway, moving on to stage 7, which is putting the slipper clutch together. Right, that's stage 7 complete, which is just a slipper clutch. That's your pads under that in that gear, and then your adjustments on the opposite side. Set to standard instructions, which is the locking nut shaft flush with the lock nut, and that's what we have. So yeah, that's stage 7 complete, so let's crack on. Right, so that's stage 9 complete, which is the rear tower, well, the full rear unit. And then looking at instructions, moving on to 10, we're actually now going to bolt the gearbox and the tower to the chassis with the rear arms as well. Yeah, there's quite a lot in stage 10 to do. Right, and that's stage 10 complete. And that was a bit of a mission, I've got to be honest. The instructions could be a lot clearer. Yeah, I'm just looking at instructions now. It just says just bolt it all on together, but it doesn't work like that, because hidden away in instructions is the rear pin mount, which goes on at that stage. And when you're looking at the diagram, it looks like it's bolted to this motor plate. It just takes a little bit of figuring out. Anyway, we figured it out. So yeah, that's all bolted down, and everything now is nipped up. Gearbox is fully nipped up. The last bolt goes all the way through. The motor plate is now, it clips into this underneath this arm, and as you can see, the arms are on. So yeah, very cool. Right, moving on to stage 11. Right, again, another very involved stage on step 12. Yeah, I'm not having a go. I just think they could be a little bit clearer. They're trying to put a lot of processes just in like one number, where they could have separated it out, maybe by another number, maybe, if that makes sense. Anyway, so rear hubs, pair of bearings in each, alloy hexes, which lock on to the outer cups, which is awesome. So dog bones in, doesn't come with UJs. That's an optional extra on the Ultima. So it's got dog bones in, upper arms now on, these little plastic clip onto the chassis. That's where your battery's going through. That's pretty much it. This plastic rails on. Had an issue. There's a part that was missing. I don't think it was missing out of the kit. I think I've misplaced it. It's like a plastic spacer. When I got to the parts tree, it wasn't on there, so it looks like it's come off. So I went through all the bags to find it, couldn't find it. So I've just put a 3mm spacer in there now, and that's nipped up solid. Only other thing to tell you, in here it gives you 3 options for camber. Is it camber or is it tow? Yeah, no, it's towing, sorry. For rear towing, which is 2, 3 and 3.5 degrees. So I just went 3 degrees. Not that it'll make a massive difference to how I run them, but yeah, you can kind of feel the gearbox now. Feels good. So moving on to stage 13. Right, so next up is the steering assembly. So I've made the 2 tie rods. I'm just digging all the bits out. So that was 13, and then servo saver together is 14. 15 is that built up going into the chassis, and 16 is with the kind of finished with the tie rods on. So I'll jump to that now and get all that process done. Right, so that's the steering in. Very basic, very cool, very smooth. Yeah, so moving on to step 17, which is the front tower. Right, front end, so step 17 is a couple of pieces put together and the arms, and then onto 18 it's putting the full front end together. Right, and that is stage up to 18 complete, which is the full front end. It's a lot more plasticky than I remember, and it's good quality plastic, don't get me wrong. Now, I've not built an Ultima before, but I remember Paul's, or so I thought. And I don't know why, but I assumed the towers were like FRP or something, but they're not. Maybe that was an upgrade, I'm not too sure. But anyway, that's all built. The eagle-eyed of you might have noticed when I showed you the steering, I'd put the wrong turnbuckles on. Back at the stage when I was supposed to be making the rears, you're supposed to make 4, I only made 2. And then when it got to the stage to make the steering ones, yeah, I got it wrong. So I had to swap it all about, make another 2. So anyway, everything's right now. So stage 19 is to dig a small bumper out and then bolt this front end down to the chassis. And that is the front end done. So looks like that underneath. A little tidy bumper. Oh, I've done it again. I'm always doing this because the steering's not. The top deck holds the top of the steering on, so if you turn it upside down, this spacer washer thing falls out. But yeah, that's everything's nice and free, as it should be. Move that camera a little bit. Oh, it's looking cool, isn't it? Look at that. God, this brings back memories. It really does. Again, I never had one. It was my best mate Paul's, but yeah, don't have to bring back memories. So yeah, well, I mean, there's a bit to go yet. Top deck, there's a rear gearbox assembly to do, but in the instructions now we're up to 20, which is to start, well, not to start, but to build the shocks. So let's get the shocks built. Right, thought I'd just jump back on before. I was just going to build them off camera, but on the parts tree, this one, which you get 2 of, there were these spacers, and they're not used in the kit. So rightly or wrongly, I've put them on all 4 shocks to lower it slightly. I normally do build the car first and get all the wheels and tyres on and kind of sit it so I can see. So I'm taking a bit of a punt on this. Generally, to lower them the way I do. So just in case you don't know, let me just move that down. So that's a normal sort of shock, this piece, and this is the extra internal spacer, which will drop it down because obviously it just blocks the piston at that length. So I'm hoping that it's not too much. It'll be okay on the rears, I'm sure, but the fronts, oh dear, hang on, that didn't work very well, did it? Push that back in. I've not greased these, so they're very tight, but yeah, in theory it's got quite a lot of movement still. But anyway, yeah, I mean, worst case scenario is I just have to go back into them, take them off, but I won't put oil in until I'm 100% sure. Right, I'll finish them off. Right, that's the shocks made. I think the rears will be fine with those spacers. This car comes with a really high ground clearance, so there's plenty there. Fronts not so much. Might be enough, might not be, no idea. There's a little spacer. What I have to do is get the car finished before I can even think about that. So that's up to stage 23. 24 now is fitting the shocks to the chassis. Right, looks like a car now. Anyway, sorry, I was just gonna say, I don't know why the rear springs are gold. I don't like cars, and this is just my personal preference. I don't like cars with different coloured springs on. I find it, yeah, I don't like it. For me, I think it should have had black all the way around, or at least, if you didn't want to do that, gold all the way around. But anyway, so as I say, plenty of movement on the front, no oil in these. Fronts not so much, but still quite a lot. Still quite a lot of that. and obviously I can take that spacer out that's down here to give it more travel but again, preempting. So that is up to 24. So 25 now is putting some bits on the top deck and then bolting the top deck down onto the chassis. So yeah, I'm just looking at the instructions now. There's servo mounts to go in. Let me just move the camera so I can get to the other page. What we got: top deck, servo mounts, and rear gearbox to finish off with the cover, and then it's just wheels and tyres. So I'll finish the car off and then I'll come back. Right, so it's the gearbox completely finished now. This gear goes on, a couple of bearings on either side. It's got a drive gear at the other side of the plastic gear down here, which locates onto this one. Just an O-ring, sit on, and then put some dust protection sponge around the box. That clamps on with the body pin. Very straightforward and feels great, to be honest. That goes on like, not like that, it goes on like that, and then you squeeze it, push it in, and then put the pin in, just like that. So that's the under tray, dick. Let's get it in camera. So that's top deck on. Looks mighty fine. Tons of, how many screws is in that? There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. There's 12 holding that top deck down. Seems like a real overkill. And I think these are for the body that are on. Servo mounts are in and the steering arm is in. You get the gist of that. Very light car. Very, very light. That's the thing that's really surprised me. Now, obviously I know it's only at the chassis stage, but yeah, it just seems very light. What a thing, my friends. So I'm pretty much certain that's the car chassis done. So I'm going to dig out the wheels and tyres because I'm curious to see what the stance is like. Right, fingers crossed. Right, that's the tyres on the wheels. Now, what is cool, because you guys know I like my tyre writing, and these are all, the wheels directional, and because the wheel's directional you got to make sure the tyres are right, because they've only got the writing on one side. See if I can get that in camera. So when we do come to do the body shell, it's got this huge sand super that goes all the way around there for tyre writing, and then it's got some numbers and a racing here. So if I can get a steady hand, they could look absolutely super cool. And the rear's pretty much the same, massive super, what is it, sand super, sorry. And then these numbers. So yeah, that's going to look really cool. Alright, let's get it on the car. And that, my friends, is the chassis built. Lovely looking thing. Them gold springs really put me off. Yeah, I can't keep quiet about it. Just don't go. I'm just looking at the box now and it's got them on, and it's just, should have been all silver, all black, all gold. In fact, not all gold. I just don't think gold suits it whatsoever. I might have to change those. But yeah, that was an awesome build. That was really nice. Enjoyed every second of that. Lovely thing, and just massive memories for me of this car. Yeah, lovely. So I've not put oil in the shocks, and that's the shocks full of, as you can see, there's tons of clearance, probably 3 centimeters, 30 mil, maybe more actually. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it as it is now until I've got the body set done in the next video, because the stance looks absolutely cock on to me, if I'm honest. But yeah, best, because there's a lot of work taking the shots back off, open up, putting oil in, and then if I do the body and I put it all back together and I'm not happy with it, so I'll leave it as it is because it's not doing any harm as it is. Yeah, very cool indeed. I'm absolutely loving that. And she's done. And that was a really enjoyable build. Just, again, I've never built one before, but, you know, strong pull to it from back in the golden era of RC. And, yeah, to finally build one myself, I know it's a re, not an original, but it doesn't matter to me, I'm not a purist. Yeah, that was awesome. Loved every part of it. I know I went on about the gold rear springs, just not a fan of that at all. Not too sure why that's maybe if they were on the original. I'm going to look stupid now if they were, but I don't remember that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I mean, that's it until the next one really, because, you know, next video we'll cut the body set out, and it's got a cage, it's got like it's polycarbonate, and it's got the cage that goes on it, big wing. Tyre decals to do, and then once that's done we'll have a look at the shocks, and if I'm happy with it, which I think I'm gonna be, we'll take them back off and we'll take those two front spacers out and we'll fill them with oil and get them bleeded, and then it just has to wait for winter to go away and then we can run the thing. Really looking forward to that. So yeah, I think that's it. Very enjoyable. The Kyosho Ultima. It's a beast. Keith, if you're watching, thank you, my friend. And thank you to everyone who clicked on this video. It's massively appreciated. And as always, my friends, you know what I'm going to say. Happy RCing.